All right, so we're going to do a review for William Friedkin's Sorcerer, 1977. So, so the movie is basically following three or four different people, and they're criminals in some way or another. Um, you have a you have Roy Scheider, who's in New York. I think it's New York, and this is all the very beginning, and they try to rob um, like this underground uh, like poker match, and there's like a priest involved, and you get the feeling that they're like connected to the mob. So they're robbing them, and then the priest I think tries to run away, and then one of the guys kills the priest, and then they're freaking out and they take all the money and run, and they get in a car accident because they're pissed at the guy because he killed someone, which they weren't supposed to do. And then and then the car crashes. They lose all the money. Roy Scheider barely gets away, and then you find out the priest was like the head mobster's brother. So now he has a hit on Roy Scheider. So Roy Scheider has to get out of there. He's barely got any money. His friend says, "Okay, I can get you a ticket and a passport somewhere, what like a fake ID to somewhere." And I'm not sure if they ever say where they go, but it's like in South America, I think. So he goes, and then there's a Palestinian guy, and they blow up a building. I think it's in Israel, and then the Israeli police kill all his friends. He barely makes it out of there, and then he goes to South America. And then there's a French guy, and they're like doing some type of illegal thing with money, and like they all go bankrupt. He's trying to get his friend to get money from his father, but his father doesn't want to give him any money, and then that guy ends up, you know, doing something to himself, and he's gone. So then that guy gets out of there. He goes to South America. Um, so that's kind of the setup, and they're desperate for money, um, and basically they're given the option to all drive these semi trucks, two semi trucks, four men through over 200 miles of jungle on these little roads. It's very dangerous to haul dynamite that if it shakes too much will explode because it's like old and they didn't store it properly, and it's like it sweats because you have to like keep like chain like flipping the box so that it doesn't, I don't know, so it doesn't, the sweat doesn't like pool. And um but anyways, that's kind of the setup. I really like this movie. I've seen it before years ago. I've always liked it. um this is kind of the non-spoilers part because that's all right in the beginning. So I think it's a really incredible movie. It's about basically the triumph of sheer will over the elements. Um, I'd highly recommend it. Uh, if you're a William Friedkin fan, definitely check it out. If you're just a fan of movies, I'd recommend it. So and Roy Scheider's in it. He's in um, Jaws, obviously. But there's a lot of good actors in it. Um, oh yeah, Joe Spinell is in it, who's in Taxi Driver, Godfather 2, Rocky. But yeah, I really liked it. I highly recommend it. It's about 2 hours long, so it's not that long. It's probably like an hour 55 or something with credits like 2 hours. But I guess that's about it for non spoilers. I definitely would recommend it. So spoilers, full spoilers. I mean, it's 1977, so when they go to South America, you know, they're in abject poverty. Roy Scheider's like sleeping in this worker camp, and he's a worker. I think he's like a taxi driver for this like oil company, and he kind of taxis people here and there. And then Bruno Cremer or Creme, he's the Frenchman. He's working on the oil rig. And then I think the Palestinian guy, I'm not sure he's actually Palestinian. I think he's Spanish, maybe. Francisco Rabal. Um, he is working on the oil rig too. And something goes wrong and it explodes. And the people who run it, I think it's Joe Spinell and some other guy, they think it's sabotage, and they're actually sure certain it is, but because the government, who's supposed to protect them, it's like an American company, so they're not popular there. Even though they're like employing tons of people, but still they're not popular. So they're not going to do anything about it, and they're just going to tell the government that it was an accident. So they're going to lose like all their money, and they have to blow up the fire that's coming out of the ground to collapse it so that um, they can rebuild the well and continue to drill. And they have to do this quick. So then they get these guys to drive through the jungle because they have this dynamite and it's over 200 miles away. They can't get it there. The helicopter, because it's too turbulent. The helicopter pilot won't do it. He said no pilot will do it because it's just a death sentence. So they all agree to do it, and they're going to pay him money, and then right before they start, they're like, we want double the money because like we realize that you only need one person to survive, or one truck to survive, and there's two trucks, so this is very dangerous. We want double, and the guy's like, okay. So then they go through the jungle. It's pretty incredible how he filmed this. Um, I'm not sure it's in widescreen. I think his other movies are in widescreen, but I don't know. Maybe it's just the cut I had. It's a Blu-ray, but um, okay. It says Dominican Republic. I tried. They mentioned like a few cities. I tried looking them up. I couldn't find them. So I don't know. It's kind of a made up area maybe, but um, I'm looking at the trivia. So William Friedkin said approximately 50 people had to leave the film for either injury or gangrene, as well as food poisoning and malaria. In the Friedkin connection, was it like a documentary? He added that almost half the crew went to the hospital or had to be sent home. Friedkin himself lost 50 pounds, wow, and was stricken with malaria, which was diagnosed after the film's premiere. Pretty cool, and they're going through the jungle, and it's pretty brutal. Um, and there's a first bridge that they barely make it across. It's already partly collapsed. It's all wooden, and they make it across that, and then there's a second bridge, which is what this poster is, and that scene's incredible. The first one makes it across, and then the second one barely makes it across. Although you think that they don't, but it's just some fast editing. Um, so this is the trivia. Despite its look, the rope bridge was actually quite elaborate in its construction and contained numerous safety devices as well as hydraulic lifts. In order for special effects crew to manipulate its motion, it cost $1 million to build. After it was completed, the original river for the scene in the Dominican Republic was almost completely dry for the first time in its history due to the drought. The bridge had to be torn down, and a new location was found in Tuxtepec, Mexico. The bridge had to be rebuilt at the cost of another $1 million. However, the raging river that the bridge was built over began to dry up. The crew, wow, had to put a 24-hour guard around the bridge because the superstitious locals threatened to blow it up, believing it was the bridge and the intruders that caused the river to become shallow. By the time filming began, the water was only 18 inches deep and looked completely non-threatening. The crew didn't have time or money to find other locations, so William Friedkin decided to add another artificial current and rainstorm using helicopter wind machines and men on towers with giant hoses. The bridge itself was so rickety that despite the safety precautions, the truck, often with the actors inside, slid off the side and into the shallow water 5 times during rehearsals and filming. The entire sequence took 3 months to shoot. Friedkin stated it was by far the most difficult sequence he had ever filmed in his career. Yeah, it looks like it. It's pretty incredible. I mean, now they would just use a bunch of CGI. Probably be all CGI, unfortunately. It looks great, you know. And I got nothing against CGI, computer imagery, but I can usually tell, especially if it's like, most of the scene, it's just like, okay, this just looks fake. But back then, there's no CGI, so William Friedkin attempted to complete the picture without relying on dialogue and telling the story through imagery instead. In the film's press book, Friedkin states that for him, creating a film is a multifaceted experience. Every film is actually 3 films. There is the film you conceive and plan, there is the film you actually shoot, and there is the film that emerges with you in the editing room. Tangerine Dream wrote the musical score using only a draft to the script given to them by the director. At no time did the trio see any actual footage of the film. Their main track, Betrayal, was recycled 2 years later to the original theatrical trailer of Walter Hill's The Warriors. Oh, wow. The film opened at the Mann Chinese Theater in Hollywood, June 24th, 1977. Audiences were so anticipating it that the week of its release, the line at Mann's was around the block. However, a film called Star Wars, 1977, was also released at about the same time. It had initially been released in only a few theaters across the nation, but when it was put into wide release, it became a phenomenon. And by the second week of its release of Sorcerer, the crowds in front of the Mann Chinese Theater had dissipated to almost nothing. One San Francisco movie house, which had broken box office records when it showed Star Wars, found that its business dwindled to nothing when Sorcerer replaced it for a week. In the end, Sorcerer only recouped $9 million of its original $21 million budget, making it a financial disaster. And yeah, released at the same time as Star Wars. Yeah. Director William Friedkin initially wanted Steve McQueen to star in the film. McQueen accepted the role, but on one condition: he wanted a co-starring role for his wife, Ali McGraw. Friedkin would not accept his condition, and McQueen dropped out of the film. Friedkin later went on record regretting not accepting McQueen's conditions. He tried to get Clint Eastwood or Jack Nicholson, but neither wanted to travel at that time. He stated that casting Roy Scheider in the lead was the worst casting decision he ever made. Wow. Although he felt Scheider was a good actor who did a great job, he is only interesting in a film as a second or third banana. He's not a star. Amadou, who played the Arab Qasim Martinez, was Friedkin's only real first choice. All the other actors are fourth, fifth, or even sixth choices. It's a little harsh, but yeah, if you look at Roy Scheider's career, I mean, he is the star in Jaws, but there's like three stars in that movie. But I mean, he is the main star. But other than that, yeah, I mean, I really like Roy Scheider, but it's probably true. I mean, if this was Clint Eastwood or Jack Nicholson or Steve McQueen, I would have made more money. When did McQueen die, though? Okay, 1980. Okay, heart attack. Well, he had horrible cancer, so I could see McQueen do this though, because he was he's a big car guy, and really a lot of the movie is like, they're Scheider isn't saying that much dialogue, so okay, it's based on a book. William Friedkin recalls working with Roy Scheider as difficult, stating the actor had frequent mood swings, which did not occur. Yeah, he's in the French Connection, but yeah, he's not the star, which did not occur during the filming of the French Connection, and theorized that after achieving stardom with Jaws, he became difficult, which constrained with his attitude from the French, which contrasted with his attitude with French Connection. So he was hard to work with. Excuse me. Scheider also had reservations about the work with Friedkin. On the one hand, praising him as an extraordinary gifted filmmaker who told pictures with stories and shot beautifully, but despite his he was marred with disgusting attitudes which made everyone around him very tense. But in the end, Scheider, seeing the movie, knew it was worth it. He said only a director of Friedkin stature could have persuaded him to perform all the life-threatening scenes he did. So, but yeah, I really liked the movie. Oh wow, Stephen King cites this as his favorite film of all time. No way. Noted horror author Stephen King cites this film as his favorite film of all time. Oh, okay, this is a remake, apparently. And in fact, in some other markets, I think it is called The Wages of Fear to get his approval for the remake. So it's a remake of a 1953 movie. I've never seen it. The film was originally to be titled The Wages of Fear, from the original French film and novel, Friedkin has stated that the strange title of this film refers to the evil wizard of fate. Okay. Well, it's also one of the names of the semi trucks. But I definitely check it out. I mean, it ends on a dark note because yeah, spoilers. I mean, one of the trucks blows up because they're ambushed by like guerrilla warriors, and they try to take over the other one. I mean, I assume because they blow out the wheel of one of them. The truck goes down, blows up, and then they ambush the other truck. They try to steal it. One of the Roy Scheider's partner in because there's two people in each truck, and he has a revolver. He pulls it out. He kills some of them. Roy Scheider kills the other guy. He gets shot though, so that guy dies. Roy Scheider's the only one to make it back, and in the end, he gets paid a bunch of money, and he's gonna go to like the Capitol to cash it. But the mobsters who are tracking him down finally track him down, and they basically kill him. So it's a very dark ending. Um, but you know, I mean, I don't know. I'd like to maybe see him live after all of that, but he does die. You know, William Friedkin definitely likes dark movies. um, but yeah, I really like it. It's really well shot. I mean, it's incredibly well shot, especially because it's you know it's just brutal. It's very brutal. It's too bad. It sounds like it was going to be a big hit, but then Star Wars came out, which no one thought was going to be a big hit, which wasn't even that in that many theaters. But then it made tons of money, so they put it in a bunch more theaters, and yeah, it made this movie kind of flop. But you know, I love Star Wars, but it is what it is. But I've always really liked this movie. I definitely recommend it, so check it out. Um, but yeah, definitely, you know, R.I.P. William Friedkin. He's a world class filmmaker. I think one of the best ever. Um, so yeah, I guess that's about it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and that's it.